we have one candidate for state party chair. That's Jack Brosch here. And we have 3 candidates for vice chair, state party vice chair. That would be Marcus Kindley, Major Dave, and Joyce Crowent. She's going to be late tonight, so she may come in at any time. I'm going to let you each introduce yourself. Take a couple minutes and tell what your candidacy is about, and then we'll open the floor for questions.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. My name is Jack Brosch, and I am running for North Carolina GOP Chair. A lot of people ask, when did you announce and why are you running? I actually announced that I was going to be running for NC GOP Chair back in December. At that time, I wasn't sure if I was going to run for chair or vice chair. Part of the reason that I announced was after I was a delegate down in Tampa, and after I saw what happened in Tampa with some of the rules change, and the vote of the rules change being on the teleprompter, that kind of upset me a little bit, and I thought we needed a little bit more transparency in the party, and I decided to run. A little bit of background real quick, because I come out of Mecklenburg County, Charlotte. I was a precinct chair in Mecklenburg County for about 1.5 years. After that, I decided after we came real close here in North Carolina in 2008, but we didn't carry the state by 2,000 votes, or 15,000 votes, sorry. I decided to go ahead and run in North Carolina's 12th Congressional District. It's a district that is listed in Wikipedia under the definition of gerrymander. I knew it was going to be a tough and uphill battle, but I also knew that I could get 15,000 additional votes by reaching out to a lot of the minorities in the state, in the district rather, and made that run. So that kind of brings you up to date to the current, and basically, should I be lucky enough to be elected chair and serve you in that capacity, my campaign is going to have 3 basic principles. The first one is training. When I was running in the 12th Congressional District, a lot of people were asking for training. And it's basically 2 tracks in training. One would be a candidate's track, pretty standard, allowing people that decide they're being called, they want to step up to run for either school board, city council, or county commission, be able to give them the tools to run effectively in whatever district or whatever capacity they're in, and to be able to win. The second aspect of it is technology. I come from a background in IT. I've been an IT consultant for 30 years. Currently, right now, I do a lot of data-based programming and crystal reports. But I want to take that technology background and bring it to the NC GOP. A lot of you folks did a lot of really, really great work in working in the grassroots effort with the victory offices. One of the issues of that campaign, both when Burke was running and as well as recently under Mitt Romney, is they never asked for the email address. So we weren't able to utilize all the information and be able to utilize that information going forward for the party and for the candidates to be able to establish communication both outward bound to the people and the conservatives and the Republicans of North Carolina, but also inward bound to be able to do a survey monkey, which I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with, having seen once or twice, but be able to survey you and find out what is important to you and how important is it. So be able to utilize technology in that aspect, and also to build a database going forward so that we can reach out to all of the conservative Republican voters here in North Carolina. And last is transparency. The North Carolina GOP basically runs on 2 different budgets. They have a campaign budget as well as an operating budget. The operating budget, it's pretty standard, but I've never felt that it's been as transparent as it should be. For the members that are on the Central Committee and the Executive Committee, I'll make that available so that people can look at it and understand where their donations are going should you choose to donate to the party, so you have a better understanding. But I also want to make the campaign budget a little more transparent as well. North Carolina GOP gets a lot of money from the RNC sometimes to distribute to candidates here in North Carolina. And as voters and as constituents and as what I would consider the backbone of the party, I want you to be able to see where that money is going and voice an opinion as to whether you think we're being good stewards of those donations. Last but not least is basically my service will be based on 2 things. One is a couple of documents that you're all familiar with here, even without being able to see them. You're probably familiar enough with the covers to know they're the U.S. Constitution and the North Carolina Constitution. That's pretty standard right now with conservatives, with Republicans across America. Those are a couple of pretty standard documents. But the third one you may not be as familiar with, but it's one that I believe in, and this document here. This is the North Carolina GOP party platform. And this is something that I think we've gotten away from. And just to give you an example, Article 2, Section 5 basically says we, the North Carolina Republican Party, do not believe in corporate handouts. We do not believe in incentives. As I mentioned earlier, I come out of Mecklenburg County, and you know the trouble that we're having down there with Jerry Richardson. Just got voted unanimously on Monday night to give him some money for the Panther Stadium. And then a little bit of my background too, I also took a break from computer consulting to become a financial advisor for 4 years, worked for MetLife. So you also know the money that they've been given. And that's something that I will voice your opinion to get that to stop. Brosch, Jack Brosch for NC GOP Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, I feel like I need to stand up for this part. My name is Kindley. I'm a former 3-term chairman in Guilford County. And one of the reasons that I'm running for the state vice chairmanship is, folks, we have a majority down in Raleigh, and it's nice. It's kind of like Ben Franklin said, it's nice if you have a majority, but can you keep it? So one of the things that, that I would point out is 2014 is going to be extremely rough. We've got Kay Hagan running again. The Democrats are going to pour money into this state. They're going to pour it in for her. I know Kay Hagan. I mean, I'm from Guilford County. I know her. I know her husband. And those people will do whatever it takes to try to win. And that's why they fought the voter ID so hard that was just passed by the House and has went over to the Senate. That's why they're going to pour it on. So, what do we need? I thought long and hard about running for this. Because the thing about it is, I know what's coming and I know how much work it's going to take. You see, as chairman of Guilford County, I raised more money than any other chairman had at the time. I raised $287,000 while I was chair. I don't know that anybody else has raised that much. In 2004, I had 350 volunteers, and we turned out 77% of the rural Republicans in the precincts, around 74% overall in the county, which was a record. I don't know that anyone else has beat me on that. They may have. But the thing about it is we had an effective organization, and we worked very, very hard, and we went out and recruited candidates, and we put together an organization that turned out the vote. And we need to do that statewide. The responsibility of the vice chair of the party is to help organize the party throughout the state. Their job is to go and work with other county chairmen. Their job is to go out and work with the district chairman and go out to them and say, what can we do to help you organize within your area? You see, when I was chairman of Guilford County, we didn't have the victory offices. Okay? I got no money from the state party ever. I got no money from the RNC. Everything that we did on our own. We had no help. Nobody bought our phones for us. One of the techniques I came up with was, at that time, Bell South charged us $120 per line to install telephones. So I said, if we get 10 lines, that's $1,200. So what I did is I went to someone who was in the wireless industry, and I said, what about cell phones? Can you buy them just to use on a local level? And they said, yeah, they're about $30 a month. So I got everybody to donate their old cellular phones. He put in the SIM cards. Instead of paying $120 per line, for $120 we got 4 telephones that could call anywhere in our county for a month. So it's effective use of your funds. You see, I can go to a county chairman and I can sit down with him or her, and I know what they're going through because I've been there and I've done it. I can go to them and say, this is a technique that we use to effectively organize in the rural precincts because I've done it. I can say, this is how we effectively organize in the cities because I've done it. And then I can say, tell me about the unique situation within your county. I'm going to go to them about fundraising. We fundraise not smart in North Carolina. And let me tell you a plan that I have. It's real simple. Divide North Carolina, we have 100 counties. Let's divide it up into 5 zones of 20 counties apiece. When you have someone, and I'll just use Newt Gingrich or one of these people, or Ann Coulter, whoever that writes books. How many times have y'all heard about Newt Gingrich or Sean Hannity or Ann Coulter is going to be at the Barnes & Noble in Statesville or Greensboro or Winston-Salem for a book signing? They come and say, they come in and they'll sign the books, you buy the book from them. Well, we need to go to them and say, because he usually when they're writing a book, they're thinking about running for office. So we need to go to them and say, tell you what, I'm with the North Carolina Republican Party, and we need your help. You see, we've got 5 districts in our state. We want to raise money in them, and I want to get you, and we're going to find a way to get you a transportation, and we're going to start you in Nashville. We're going to have breakfast, and then we're going to move. I'll cut it off this. Then we're going to move around the state and go to Greensboro, go to Charlotte, go to Raleigh, go to Wilmington, and then the money raised at those divided up between all of those counties, and use that to our advantage. So when these people come in, we make money for the county, so the county organization can have the money to do the job that they need to do. Thank you, Al. I'll shut up.
Thank you. And before I start actually talking about me, I was asked by Claude Pope, who is running for state chair, to express to you his regrets that he could not be here tonight. Claude lives on Bald Head Island down below Wilmington, and every year the Bald Head Island community comes together and hosts a number of wounded warriors and their families. And the entire community pitches in to bring this off. They bring in the kids and the whole families, put them up for the weekend. They play golf, they go swimming and boating and everything else. And he was previously committed to that event and therefore could not be with us tonight. That said, I'm Dave Getz. Everybody just knows me as Major Dave. Getz is one of those last names that is commonly mispronounced or misspelled. And it's just easier for folks to remember Major Dave. And I'm a native of Raleigh. I tell people I grew up in the Golden Triangle of downtown Raleigh, surrounded by Dorothy Dix Mental Hospital, Central Prison, and the legislature. Crooks and crazies, you figure out which is which. I'm a retired Army officer. I spent a 20-year career in the military. Basic branch was a military police officer. But I had a wide diversity of assignments. I spent 3 years in Durham as a training officer with the National Guard. I taught ROTC at North Carolina A&T in Greensboro for 3 years. I went up to the National Guard Bureau at Washington, and I oversaw national level policy and whatnot. And that's really what I think sets me apart in this race, is having had national level executive experience. When you're writing policy that has to be applicable in all 54 states and territories, it has to work in Guam. It has to work in Rhode Island, but it also has to work in New York, Texas, and California. Decidedly different pieces. And these 100 counties in North Carolina are no different. The differences in the people and their politics is just amazing. You do not go door to door up in the mountains like you do down in Wake County. It just doesn't work. That's why you have to be in charge of what works in your county. My vision as vice chair is to focus on organizational structure and effectiveness. But I can't do that until we, and I mean we, put some clarity and some confidence back into our platform. We have to be able to assure people what they're donating to, what they're volunteering their time for, when they step up to help us do what we do in leading our party. You are the leaders. You're the people who get involved and actually do the business of the party. I looked on the website today, the State Board of Elections, 2.6 million registered Democrats, 1.9 million registered Republicans, unaffiliated at 1.6. We're in second place. But what amazes me is out of the 6 million registered voters in North Carolina, that leaves another 3 million North Carolinians that aren't even registered to vote. and they aren't all under 18. We've got some recruiting to do. And in order to do that recruiting, we've got to have a solid and stable message of just who we are and what we stand for. It's not a matter of debate. We already decided, and as Jack said, it's called our platform. And therefore, my campaign motto, and it's on the back of my shirt, one God, one nation, one party, one platform. That's the basis of unity. We're not the United Nations. We're not a body where everybody with an opinion gets a seat at the table. We have a brand in the marketplace of ideas, and it's called being a Republican. We need to reassure people that we are going to stand up in the public square and be firm in our resolve to that platform and our commitment to it. So as we entertain your questions tonight, I look forward to exploring those issues further with you. Thank you, Jim.